Right, let's talk about something that's not just changing the game for developers, but is the new game.
AI code assistant.
If you are not leveraging these tools, you are likely working harder, not smarter. This isn't just about auto-completing a line of code anymore. We are talking about intelligent partners that can help you brainstorm, debug, refactor, and even manage complex development workflows. I'll break down what you need to look for, introduce you to some of the cutting edge advancements like Agentic AI, and highlight some tools that are pushing the boundaries. Plus, I will get into the nitty gritty of prompt engineering.
Because how you ask the AI just as important as what it knows.
Before we get started, make sure to subscribe to this channel and click the alert button. That way, when I release more videos and more tips like this, you will get notified. If you are excited to diving deeper into the world of modern software engineering from architecture to cloud and security, check out my video courses where I explore these concepts further and tackle real-world challenges. The link to the courses is in the video description below. And here is a bonus. Subscribe to my newsletter and you will get free and discount access to my video courses. Master agentic coding, next-gen models, and prompt engineering before your competitors do. What is the best AI coding assistant? At its core, an AI coding assistant is a tool designed to help you, the developer, write better code faster. But the best one? That's entirely dependent on your specific needs. You are looking for a suite of features that include intelligent code completion and suggestions. This is the baseline. An AI that understands your code's context and offers relevant completions. Debugging assistance. An AI that can spot errors or suggest potential fixes, saving you hours of head scratching. Code refactoring. Tools that can help you restructure and optimize existing code. Recommendations. Smart suggestions based on best practices or your project's patterns. Automatic tests. Some assistants can generate unit tests better than others. Documentation generation. Imagine the drudgery of writing documentation significantly reduced. IDE integration. Seamless operation within your preferred integrated development environment is key. Language support. Naturally, it needs to support your favorite programming languages. Key factors to consider when choosing your AI copilot. When you are picking an AI code generation tool, there are several critical factors you need to weigh. Code efficiency and performance. Does the AI generate optimized performant code, or is it bloated and slow? Bugs and errors. How reliable is the generated code? You don't want an assistant that introduces more bugs than it fixes. Compatibility and integration. How well does it play with your existing toolchain, your IDE, and your version control systems? Security and vulnerability mitigation. This is huge. Does the tool help you write secure code, or could it potentially introduce vulnerabilities? Collaboration and version control. How does it fit into a team environment and your Git workflows? Documentation and code reliability. Does it produce code that's easy for humans to understand and maintain? Keeping up with technological advancements. The AI field is moving at lightning speed. How does the tool stay current? So, it's a balancing act, and being aware of these challenges with AI coding tools is the first step to making an informed decision. Gemini Code Assist is an example that has an extensive integration capabilities across multiple enterprise systems. It bridges multiple aspects of enterprise software development, from coding and documentation to deployment and maintenance. Here is how it connects various development tools and platforms. Version control systems. GitHub, GitLab, and probably other version control systems integration for automated pull request reviews. automatically finds bugs and style issues, suggests code changes and fixes, documentation and knowledge base. It supports connection for private documentation repositories, provides source citations for documentation references. It uses large context windows, up to 1 million tokens, to understand code and documentation. IDE integration, direct integration with popular development environments including VS Code, JetBrains IDEs, IntelliJ, PCharm, and so on, Android Studio, and Cloud Workstations. Cloud Workstations is the name of a cloud-based development environment service offered by Google. It provides pre-configured development environments with a built-in IDE and allows users to work remotely in a browser or their local IDE. It provides contextual assistance within the development environment. It offers smart actions and commands for common tasks. Gemini Code Assist has also integration with Firebase for application development, BigQuery for data operations, Apigee for API management. Apigee, by the way, is a comprehensive API management platform from Google Cloud designed to help businesses build, manage, and secure APIs. It acts as a proxy, enabling API providers to manage various aspects of their API lifecycle, including security, analytics, and monetization. Apigee supports multi-cloud strategies and helps businesses scale their API initiatives. Gemini Code Assist has also application integration for workflow automation. Application integration offers a wide range of triggers out of the box, including API, Cloud PubSub, Schedule, Salesforce, and Cloud Scheduler triggers. A look at the market. Tools making waves. The market is crowded, and the table comparing features and pricing can quickly become outdated since the AI landscape evolves rapidly. But just as an example, in the following table, you can see how GitHub Copilot, powered by OpenAI's model, is one of the most well-known, offering inline suggestions and chat features, and recently added agent mode. Tabneen is another popular choice, known for its privacy features and ability to be trained on your own code base. Windsurf, formerly Codeium, focuses on code integrity and test generation. It emphasizes broad IDE support and also offers enterprise solutions. Amazon Code Whisper provides real-time code suggestions and security scanning. SourceGraph Codey leverages your code base for context-aware assistance. I strongly advise you to check the official websites for the latest features and pricing, as these change frequently. The rise of agentic AI.
Now, this is where things get really interesting.
We are moving from traditional AI assistants that simply suggest code snippets to something more powerful, agentic coding. With a traditional AI assistant, you make a request, the AI analyzes it, suggests some code, you review it, and then you manually implement it. With an agentic AI system, you make a request, and the agentic system doesn't suggest, it acts. It can execute commands, manipulate files, run tests autonomously, interact with your development environment, and even make complex decisions, sometimes without direct human oversight for each step.
This is a fundamental advancement. Agentic systems can take on more of the development lifecycle.
GitHub's Mod Agent is an example of this trend. It enables autonomous operations within defined constraints, like executing file edits or running terminal commands in a sandboxed environment, always with user permissions for actions. While specific Mod Agent features continue to evolve, the direction is clear: more autonomous, capable AI partners. Next generation code editors. The way you interact with these AI models is evolving, with code editors themselves becoming more AI-centric.
The landscape here is incredibly dynamic.
But let's have a look at some of the best editors in the market. Windsurf. Windsurf, which is recently acquired by OpenAI for $3 billion, is a notable player. They've emphasized security by achieving SOC 2 Type 2 compliance. This is a big deal because it means they've implemented robust security controls, passed rigorous audits, demonstrated consistent security practices over time, and maintained detailed documentation of their security measures. For AI code assistants that handle sensitive code, this level of security certification is critical to protect against unauthorized access and data breaches. Windsurf also offers self-hosted options for enterprises, which can be a crucial factor for companies with strict data privacy requirements. Offering such robust enterprise-focused solution, especially in light of its recent high-profile acquisition by OpenAI, positions Windsurf as a formidable competitor. This intense competition reflects a larger industry dynamic where, as keen observers point out, the race to dominate AI-assisted coding is more about capturing the developer workflow, which is rapidly becoming the most monetizable aspect of current LLM technology. And it's where Windsurf enters the picture. Founded by Varun Mohan and Douglas Chen, the company began as X-Function in 2021, focusing on GPU utilization and inference, before pivoting in 2022 to AI developer tools, eventually launching the Windsurf editor. Windsurf distinguished itself early by being among the first to ship a fully agentic IDE, featuring innovations like context compression at inference time and IST-aware chunking. Its standout features include Cascade, a system providing deep context awareness across an entire codebase for coherent multi-file changes, and flows designed for real-time AI collaboration where the AI actively understands and adapts to the developer's ongoing work. Zed. Developed by the team behind Atom and Electron, Zed is a high-performance editor built in Rust. It's designed for speed and collaboration. Zed features an integrated AI assistant with both inline capabilities and an assistant panel. Its strength lies in context awareness, allowing a rich exchange between you, your project codes, and the AI model for tasks like understanding complex code or refactoring. It also offers flexible model integration, supporting models from Anthropic, OpenAI, Google, and even local models via Ollama. Cursor. Cursor is a fork of VS Code, but it's specifically designed to enhance AI interactions, particularly around code completion, chat, and more AI-first approach to coding. It aims to deeply integrate AI into the development workflow. Both Zed and Cursor are powerful alternatives for VS Code if you find AI integrations like GitHub Copilot not quite hitting the mark for your workflow. They are pushing the envelope on how AI can be a more natural and powerful part of your coding environment. The Powerhouse models behind the scene. Meet the new era of code: Claude Opus 4, Gemini 2.05, OpenAI o4 Mini, and more. Okay, let's dive deep into the engines that power these AI coding assistants, because the landscape here is evolving at blistering pace. If your last serious look at these models was even a few months ago, you are already behind. We are talking major updates from the big players like OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google, and even new specialized model series popping up. What you thought was cutting edge yesterday might just be today's baseline. So let's get you up to speed on powerhouse models you need to know about. Anthropic's Claude series. Anthropic has been making serious waves, and their latest generation, Claude Opus 4 and Claude Sonnet 4, are setting new benchmarks, especially in coding and advanced reasoning. Claude Sonnet 4. This model significantly improves upon its predecessor, particularly in coding. It's designed to strike a balance between performance and efficiency, making it great for upgrade from earlier Sonnet versions for your everyday coding tasks. Anthropic says GitHub will introduce Sonnet 4 as a new coding agent in GitHub Copilot because it soars in agentic scenarios. Claude Opus 4. This is the one Anthropic is touting as potentially the world's best coding model. It excels at complex problem solving and boasts dramatically improved memory capabilities. Think about refactoring code continuously for hours while maintaining performance. That's the kind of sustained effort it's designed for. It also supports a hefty 32K output token limit and can adapt to your specific coding style, which is fantastic for extensive generation and refactoring projects.
Both Opus 4 and Sonnet 4 are described as hybrid reasoning models,
capable of near-instant responses, but also featuring an extended thinking mode for when you need a deeper reasoning. This can even involve using tools like web search during that extended thinking process. Anthropic has also made Claude Code generally available, which supports background tasks via GitHub Actions and has native integration in VS Code and JetBrains IDEs. OpenAI's offering, from UI whisperers to debugging scalpels. OpenAI continues to be a dominant force, and you've got a few key models to consider. GPT-401. This model, replacing earlier previews, offers a 128,000 token context and is noted for being cheaper and having lower latency. It's solid for greenfield scaffolding, turning UI comps into component stubs, and drafting API documentation. However, when you are trying to thread a fix through a mature, complex code base, it might lose track on long dependency chains or unit test edge cases. So think of it more for design system mockups and initial scaffolds rather than deep, intricate surgery on existing code. OpenAI O3. Now, this is what is called a research-grade reasoning engine. The O series is aimed at reasoning, and O3 certainly delivers. It can chain tool calls, write analysis, and diligently pore over extensive test suites. However, this power comes at a price. It's slow and costly. Unless you have a funk-scale budget or are truly stumped by a bug, O3 is more of a luxury item. OpenAI O4 Mini. This is a compressed variant of the O series, optimized for tight reasoning loops. In practice, it's 3 to 4 times faster than O3, and while still potentially expensive via the API, it's sometimes available throttled for free in some IDE. Where other models might stall at mock dependencies, O4 Mini has been observed to recognize the test harness and nail the bug. Its output is notably terse. You get concise patches, not lengthy explanations. This makes it great for knowledge generics, dependency injection edge cases, and mocking strategies that leave other models confused. Google's Gemini, the UI specialist. Google's Gemini 205 comes with a massive 1 million token context window with 2 million promised, and has been available for free in many instances. It truly shines in UI work and is incredibly fast for code generation. If you are working on dashboards, polishing design systems, coding accessibility passes, or whipping up a quick proof of concept UIs, Gemini is a strong contender. The catch? If your repository uses an API that changed after Gemini's training data cutoff, it might confidently argue with your outdated reality, sometimes even putting your facts in scare quotes. It also might cite library versions incorrectly or hallucinate libraries, so you will want to double-check its references. Adopting a multimodal workflow, the pro move. Given that these models have different strengths and weaknesses, the smartest approach would be to mix and match. Don't just stick to one model for everything. Consider a relay race approach. If you are exploring UI ideas, use something like GPT-401 in ChatGPT. Drop in your slide deck and ask it to generate mockups. To scaffold the application, turn to Gemini 205 for its speed and UI prowess to get the basic shell and overall structure in place. To create initial specifications, use a Claude model, perhaps the new Sonnet 4 or Opus 4 with extended thinking, to draft your specs. You can even ask another LLM to critique it or request an implementation plan. Sometimes it's useful to ask a model like O4 Mini if the spec is clear enough for an LLM to follow. To flesh out the logic, bring in a dependable workhorse like Claude Sonnet 307 or the newer 4 to fill in controller logic and tests. For debug and refine, for those tricky parts or bugs that other models miss, unleash debugger Scalpel like O4 Mini to redesign mocks or type stubs until your tests pass. This multi-model strategy helps keep each AI in its sweet spot, can minimize token costs, and lets you leverage free tier windows effectively. Mastering prompt engineering.
How you ask the AI just as important as what it knows.
You can have the most powerful AI, but if you don't know how to talk to it, you don't get the results you need. This is where prompt engineering comes in. It's the art and science of crafting effective prompts. Common prompting pitfalls to dodge. Be wary of vague prompts. Make it secure and sanitize user input is a good start, but it's still vague. Secure against what? What kind of sanitization? For which language or framework? Missing context. If the AI doesn't know what the rest of your application looks like, how can it give you perfectly fitting code? Unclear requirements. If you don't fully understand what you need, the AI definitely won't. Basic prompting techniques. These are fundamentals, and you should make them a habit. Be specific and clear. Don't say, write a function. Specify the programming language, framework, and version, and any specific requirement. Here's an example of a poor prompt. Create a database class. A better prompt would be, create a C# database class that loads data from SQLite database using Entity Framework code. Provide context. Include relevant details about your project and existing architecture. The more context the AI has, the better its output. An example of a poor prompt, add authentication to the API. A better one would be, add JSON Web Token authentication to the first API application using OAuth 2. The application already has user management endpoints. Ask direct questions. Be specific. Clearly state what you need the AI to do. Don't make it guess. A poor prompt can be, I need help with a database. A better one is, write a C# repository class for handling user data in SQLite database. Include CRUD operations and async methods. Specify format. If you need the output in a particular format, for example JSON, specific class structures, ask for it. Here is a poor prompt. Show me how to implement authentication. A better prompt, show me a complete FAST API authentication implementation using JSON Web Token, include token generation, token validation, protected routes, error handling, format the response as a markdown code block with explanations. Advanced prompting technique. Once you've mastered the basics, you can explore more advanced strategies. Few-shot prompting. Provide multiple examples of what you want. This helps the AI understand the desired pattern or style. Here is an example. Instead of a poor prompt like classify the sentiment of the review, a few-shot prompting would be, the task is to classify the sentiment of the review as positive, negative, or neutral. Examples. If the review is, I loved the service and the food was amazing, the sentiment would be positive. If the review is, the meal was okay, but the place was too noisy, the sentiment would be neutral. If the review is, I hated the pasta, it was overcooked and bland, the sentiment would be negative. Now classify this review. The food was decent. Chain of thoughts, or COT. For complex tasks, guide the AI by breaking the problem down into logical steps. Ask it to think step by step. Here is an example of COT prompting. First, analyze the requirements. I need a REST API endpoints. It must handle file uploads, must validate file type, must store in cloud storage. Here you can also specify which cloud provider you are using, whether you are using, for example, AWS, GCP, Azure, and so on, whether you are using S3 buckets to store objects, for example, or a database like MongoDB, PostgreSQL, and so on. Then break down the implementation. Create endpoint structures, add validation middleware, implement cloud storage integration, add error handling. Finally, generate the complete implementation in Node.js. Contextual priming. Provide relevant context or information before you ask for the main task. This warms up the AI with the right background. Here is an example. Context. This is a TypeScript React application using Material UI components. The task is to create reusable form component that uses Material UI components, implements form validation, supports conditional rendering, includes error handling. Please provide the implementation with TypeScript types and examples. Self-consistency. This is a neat trick. You ask the AI to generate multiple solutions to the same problem, perhaps with slightly different phrasing of the prompt or by adjusting parameters like temperature if the tool allows. Then you look to the common elements or the majority consensus in the responses. This helps identify the most reliable solution by comparing different implementations. It's particularly useful when you are dealing with complex tasks, working with models that might produce inconsistent results. You simply need higher confidence in the generated code, or you want to learn and discover different alternative solutions. Here is an example of self-consistency prompting. Generate 3 different implementations of a Python function to validate an email address. Each implementation should check for valid format, verify domain existence, handle international domains, include error messages. After generating the implementation, analyze them and provide the most consistent approach. Turn the tables. Make the AI ask you. You know what you want the AI to whip up, but you are a bit fuzzy on all the super specific details and context it might need? No worry. Here is a little trick for your advanced prompting. Just slap this golden phrase onto the end of your prompt. Don't make assumptions, ask me questions. This simple addition can transform a monologue into a dialogue, coaxing the AI to work with you to clarify ambiguity. Et voila! Instead of your AI buddy taking a wild guess and potentially building you a digital skyscraper while you just wanted a nice birdhouse, it will pause and ask you for the vital tidbits it's missing. This way, you're guided to a more accurate and tailored result, especially when you are wading into complex coding challenges or topics where you are not the seasoned guru yet. It's not just for code generation. Remember, these AI assistants can be your partners beyond just churning out lines of code. Use them for brainstorming. Stuck on a problem? Talk it through with your AI. Analyzing and optimizing task descriptions. Get help refining your problem statements. Splitting tasks. Break down large daunting tasks into smaller, more manageable subtasks. Visualizing data or information. Some AIs can help you understand complex data. Generating diagrams. Needs a sequence diagram to explain how JWTs work? You can prompt for that. For example, please give me a mermaid sequence diagram that explains how JWT authentication works. Then copy and paste that code into a tool or app that can visualize the mermaid diagram, like this online website or the IntelliJ IDEA mermaid extension. The world of AI code assistants is incredibly dynamic. What I've shared is just a snapshot, a guide to help you harness these powerful tools. The key is to stay curious, keep experimenting, and always critically evaluate the output. These AIs are here to augment your skills. Embrace them, learn to speak their language, through smart prompting, and you will find yourself developing faster, more efficiently, and perhaps even more creatively than ever before. Now, I'm curious to hear your experiences and questions.
Thanks for watching and see you next time. Agentic systems can take one more
Agentic systems can take on
agentic
more
systems
of the development
take on more of the development
workflow
life cycle. Okay.
and even manage.
Now, I'm curious to hear experience and questions.
Now, I'm curious to know your experiences and questions. Now, I'm curious to know your experiences and questions.
Now, I'm curious to hear your experiences and questions.